Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today with a really awesome conversation all about the update that I had with Aronos and Clash Attacks with Jo. They're two smaller up-and-coming YouTubers for Clash of Clans. They have awesome content, so be sure to check them out after you listen to this conversation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so I am here with Aronos and Jo, two big up-and-comers in Clash of Clans, two of my favorite YouTubers out there. Guys, why don't you just start by introducing yourselves briefly and telling us a little bit about your channel. Jo, you want to go first?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm Clash Attacks with Jo, and I'm specializing in all attacks, but I'm slowing it down and just adding some overlays and graphics to just point out what I'm talking about.
Awesome, man. You have a real knack for getting delving really deep into a strategy and really breaking it down. Really a big fan of your channel, so thanks so much for coming on. Arrow?
Yeah, so Aronos here, and I do a combination of Clash of Clans and some Clash Royale and Gods of Olympus, and I just do a little bit of like strategy, mostly strategy, and then a fair amount of just kind of like let's play, just kind of fun stuff too, so.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Arrow and Jo, for coming on. Today, we're going to kind of rapid fire through the main additions to the game in the April update, and I kind of want to get your quick take on Skeleton Spell, Clone Spell, Baby Dragon, and Miners. So let's hop right into it. Skeleton Spell. Arrow, yay or nay on Skeleton Spell?
Yeah, I think the Skeleton Spell is kind of a tricky one. I think it has the potential to be useful, but because it's sort of a reactionary spell, it's not something that you like look ahead and you're like, I'm going to use this right here. I think it's something that just a lot of people haven't really found a use for just yet, but I think it does have the potential to be useful, like, pop it under a Queen's Cloak to, create a distraction for her, or maybe drop it next to a single target Inferno before it hits your Barbarian King to save you a free spell or something like that. I think it does have its uses, but we're just not seeing them just yet.
Jo?
Yeah, definitely. I haven't quite seen a use for it yet, and just in planning, you look far ahead in the base and you're looking for jump spells and earthquake spells where I'm a place, but when it comes to the skeleton spell, I just haven't really found it quite yet. It does have the potential. I do agree with Arrow on that. I just don't think we've quite found it yet.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think that, I remember one raid specifically stands out in my mind where I got a 3-star against a Town Hall 11, and I used my skeleton spell to take out an Eagle Artillery by itself, just because my troops just so happened to kind of funnel around the Eagle Artillery. So it was still there hammering away at my troops, but my troops had moved on. And I think it's in one of my YouTube videos, but I dropped that skeleton spell, and I was like, wow, that was awesome. But in every other scenario, I think I'd prefer going into a raid just having that second poison spell to use on the Archer Queen or the King, depending on how I'm going to hit the base. So it's tough to make a justifiable use for it in comparison to like another poison spell. I think I'd rather have it over an Earthquake, but I really like bringing 2 poison spells too. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially with as popular obviously Valkyries first and now boulders now. I mean, minions are just so powerful right now that double poison seems to be the way to go.
Yeah, I love it. I love double poison. Double poison on the clan castle if it kind of gets out of control, or just like I said, slowing down the Archer Queen is really valuable. But let's move on to Clone Spell, guys. Jo, you can go first with the Clone Spell. Yay or nay? Early thoughts on the Clone Spell?
I'm going to say yay. It has a place. It definitely is quite useful when it comes to the bowlers. It's adding additional bowlers to the raid, but I think it's just a little pricey right now. 4 slots is a little high when you can take an additional raid spell to get those bowlers through the map.
Arrow?
Yeah, I actually think the clone spell is really powerful right now, especially at Town Hall 11. I mean, 35 troop spaces. I mean, that's 5 bowlers, 4 Valkyries, 7 balloons. I mean, it's a whole Hound or Golem too. So I think it's really powerful, but I mean, I could see why it wouldn't really be worth it at Town Hall 10, because at that point you only have 25 housing spaces, if I remember correctly. And for 4 housing spaces on spells, it's just not really justifiable, I don't think, at that level.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you to an extent as well. I guess I agree and disagree, because I think the clone spell is awesome at Town Hall 11, as you kind of said, Arrow. Right, at Town Hall 11, what people are missing, I think, is the ability to get another 35 troops maxed out in the core of the base immediately and pop your Eternal Tome immediately afterwards. So essentially, you're dropping a Rage spell, you're dropping the Eternal Tome, and then you have immediately 35 troops transported into the core of the base under rage and invincible with the Eternal Tome. Most of the time, sure, adding a freeze spell or a rage spell gives you a lot of value as well, in opposition to that clone spell. But I just find that most of the time you don't need that extra rage spell or the clone spell if everything goes perfectly and you clone and make them invincible and rage them. They'll tear through, bowlers specifically, will tear through a core of a base. And but I do agree with Arrow in that. So in a way, I think that Joe, I think you definitely echo the opinion of the majority there in terms of the cost being too high for a lot of people. But at the same time, I think that the real issue here is that Town Hall 10 just can't afford. They don't have the Eternal Tome ability. They don't have the Grand Warden. They can't afford to be sacrificing 4 spell slots for, as Arrow said, 25 troops. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that, for sure.
All right, well, moving on. Baby Dragon? Arrow?
Yeah, the Baby Dragon, I was actually really excited about this troop when I first saw it. But after the release, it feels a little underwhelming. I feel like it needs to have its housing space reduced slightly to like maybe 6 or 8. And I feel like the Enrage needs to maintain its effectiveness even while it's around other air troops, maybe just not other baby dragons. I mean, it can be sort of useful like in the clan castle, and I use it as sort of like a funneling troop, but at the most I'll only use it like one of them. So I think it just needs to see some adjustments before it's really useful, but I think it does have potential.
Joe?
The baby dragon, I have Town Hall 9 as well, and obviously it's unlocked at Town Hall 9, and just level 1, it's just not useful enough for farming right now for a Town Hall 9 player. It's a little pricey at 15,000 elixir, and I think it's most useful right now currently in the clan castle. It's just tanky enough to slow your troops down in the core of the base, and it puts out a lot of heat when it's enraged like it is by itself. So a lot of things we've been seeing right now is the baby dragon with just random ground troops in the clan castles at Town Hall 9s, and it's definitely slowing down the kill squads. So I think it's useful as defense, but offense, it just needs to be just a little bit more.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Joe. I think that defensively, it would be really valuable. Like, it does have a use in the clan castle, but the problem is, especially when you get into Town Hall 10 and 11, that air troops minions are so effective in the clan castle right now that when you mix the baby dragon with the air troops, obviously you lose the enrage ability, therefore you really nullify part of what makes it so awesome in the clan castle. So if you take Arrow's advice and you make it only baby dragons actually give it that nerf or allow it not to be enraged, I think that's kind of a happy medium there. You guys kind of agree, or?
Yeah, give it sort of that brooding effect where like it's like frustrated and pissed off by itself, but then maybe when it's around like other baby dragons, it kind of settles down, and then that's when you lose the effectiveness. But
yeah, I'm curious, have either of you guys done any videos on baby dragons?
I haven't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah, I haven't done any yet either.
Yeah, I did one on farming with them, and although it was a lot of fun, it's just not my. It seemed, to be honest with you, it seemed a little bit like a novelty strategy. It works great, but it's just not. It's not the most effective farming strategy out there, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, it's pricey too. It's very pricey for a Town Hall 9.
It is. Even level 1's very pricey. So yeah, I do think that there needs to be some sort of an adjustment on baby dragons. I'm not gonna, say the vert is totally out yet, because, we always, as a community and as content creators and as anybody, we always misjudge the effectiveness, it seems, early on some of this new content. So it's hard to say, but yeah, that's my. I kind of agree with you guys again. Man, this is a real agree fest here, guys. We got to have a big disagreement here on minors. So I think Joe's up first on minors.
Oh, I love the miner. I'm not even going to lie to you. The one you posted last night or whatever it was, that strategy is something else. I actually was going to work on something, little caveat to it. The miner adds a feature to the game that has been unseen the entire last 3 years that we've been playing. Town Hall 10s and 11s. Well, I'm at 11 and I use 11 and add it to the bowlers, and funneling is where it's really useful. And then you also get those couple ones at the end of the raid that are actually cleaning up when you're unknowingly that they're there. So I think it's a great troop. I wouldn't change it right now, actually.
Good call. I tend to agree. Arrow?
Yeah, I think I would agree with that too. It's interesting though, because like the miner is sort of serving.
Disagree. You're supposed to disagree. This is not going as scripted, guys.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because like, you look at the hogs, and the hogs sort of serve that flanking or sort of backside purpose, and now the miners are sort of doing that, only better. I mean, aside from like, unless you're using them on like the very back end, the miners kind of have their own unique purpose in that like they work really great as a funnel and kind of like working as sort of a flanking unit. And they're really tanky. I mean, they're a lot tankier than their tooltip suggests because they're untargetable for so often. So yeah, I mean, I think that they're a really interesting troop for sure. And I mean, it's worth noting too that like, most of the new troops haven't been jumped up by everybody. So it'll be really exciting to see how a lot of these strategies evolve as they become available to more and more people in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I love miners, but mine again are maxed out, so it's easy for me to say. But I'm seeing a lot of usage with them. Like you guys said, you don't have to wait until back end like you do hogs. You can deploy them right after your kill squad, and they create a funnel at the beginning of the attack, middle of the attack, and sometimes they even help with a cleanup at the end of the attack. So they're a really interesting and cool troop. I really like them, and I like the fact that they're. At first, I was kind of like, you know what? I wish this troop was defensive targeting, because we need a new defensive targeting troop. However, and now that I've seen them actually in gameplay, I really like that they're not, because just the mechanic alone that they go underground and they target everything really makes them very valuable for the funneling. And if you made them defensive only targeting, that would totally negate that. So I like the miner a lot. I'm a big fan. Before I let you guys, you know what? I'm waiting till the end of the conversation to ask you guys this, but obviously I think most people probably know, but you both are max Town Hall 11 totally, or?
I'm actually about midway. I have a level 33 King, and I slowed down my defensive progress because I didn't want to pull too much weight on my clan.
Oh, okay.
I'm about halfway there.
Okay, and Arrow, you're pretty much maxed, right?
Yeah, I maxed out Town Hall 11, and then I've got the Town Hall 9 that I just have fun with. So
yeah, and Joe, you have like what, 10 accounts or something?
I have a max Town Hall 9 with Lego walls, level 9 walls, nothing special, and level 20 heroes, nothing too beefy on there.
And don't you have like a Town Hall 8 and 7?
Oh,
and 6?
Actually, that's actually the missus account.
Oh, okay.
I borrow for these purposes to teach.
Oh man, the misses. Now my 6% female audience just tuned out now that Joe has a missus. But all right, let's get back on subject here. Before I let you guys go, I'm gonna shoot a quick fire question at you. Friendly challenge. If you could add one thing to improve the feature in the game, friendly challenge, what would it be? Arrow, go.
If I could do one thing, I think it would be cool if you could like. Because we have the 24-hour timer on bases. Like, what if we could move like a certain number of structures each day in a base? Like, if you test your base out and somebody hits it, and you just want to like move a wall section or like move a couple traps, you could do that. Like maybe 20 wall pieces or traps or like a defensive structure or two, like within that 24-hour period without getting that cooldown. That way, you could afford to play with it or adjust it a little bit. But it still couldn't be abused to where you're like totally revamping entire bases to mimic what you might hit in a war attack.
Yeah, like maybe if you had like a countdown of like 10 moves left in the 24-hour period, and then you could just make a move.
Yeah, exactly.
And even to piggyback on that, I think that maybe, because right now you can't even change the Inferno towers from multi to single target without triggering that 24-hour cooldown.
Yeah,
I think even that at the most minor of changes to allow people to change that wouldn't really affect anything as far as the scouting and stuff. So, Joe?
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of good points. Actually, I'm going to play the majority with this one. Mm-hmm. I would definitely change not using your own troops that are in your camps. If you accept a friendly challenge, you should be able to select the troops that you want to take into that match and not use your clan castle. And if your heroes are down, if you select this option, then the heroes are up and you can actually use them. So I think that you should be able to select your army separate from what's in the army camps.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. As long as they still cost resources, I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Have like
100%.
a separate army and clan castle and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I feel it's a really good teaching tool for those people in our clans that are just struggling on minor funneling details and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree, and my two, or I'm gonna sneak two in here, but my two would be they're very minor compared to yours, but one would be that heroes always available in friendly challenge, because there's no practical reason that you'd ever want to be practicing against a base with heroes down. You're not practicing farming, so I don't see, especially defensively. I can understand offense, maybe, in a perfect world we'd have them both, but in defense, there's no way you would ever want heroes down unless you're practicing hitting bases with heroes down, which wouldn't help you in war because heroes are never down defensively. Yeah. So that's one thing. And the other thing, I think that I really wish there would be a defensive clan castle setting where hopefully the troops would actually just be free and you could just change them up, similar to what you guys kind of said about the having cooked armies preset. Just because it stinks to always have a golem, it seems like, or bowlers, even worse. Yeah.
So, well, you got to think too that, I mean, if we had like separate armies aside from the ones that were cooking in our camps, I mean, you got to think that like the vast majority of players are like farming pretty much all the time, and so like the friendly challenge feature isn't even available to like a lot of these people who are trying to make progress on like their walls and their heroes and all that stuff. And this would kind of give them the ability to participate in friendly battles while cooking up like their farming troops or their pushing troops or whatever it may be, Yeah,
that's very agreeable. I've actually halted a lot of my progress on my own Barbarian King just helping people practice.
So. Yeah, I totally agree. So overall, guys, you're feeling the update, or you lukewarm to it? How do you feel? 1 to 10, rate the update, Arrow.
I would say, I would definitely say that this is probably the biggest update since Clan Wars. On the spot, I don't want to say 10, but I'm gonna say probably about like an 8 or so. I mean, it's really good, but there's definitely a couple minor things that I would like to see changed.
Okay, fair. Joe?
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I'm gonna say a 7 just to knock it down a little bit. I mean, it is the biggest update that we've seen in the last year and a half. But we're still just missing that one little thing, and obviously we've all been harping about Clan War stuff, but the new troops and the new feature to friendly challenge has definitely motivated myself to play a lot more than what I was before. So I think it's a great update. It just needs those little minor things.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's really a game of expectations, right? So it's weird. I'm tempted to give it a 10 because of that same reason that Joe just said, that it's got me playing the game 10 times more than I was previous to. I mean, I cover Clash Royale on my channel too, and honestly, since the update hit in Clash of Clans, I don't even want to do Clash Royale videos. Maybe I'll edit that out, but I'm so into Clash of Clans right now. So in that regard, it's a 10 for me because it's really flip flopped my passion for the game right now. It's at an all-time high. However, and that's partially because I was so down on the update when I first heard about it, when it wasn't announced yet, And, behind the scenes, I'll admit to even, this is awful to admit, but I was like, I don't think this is what we need right now, friendly challenge. I think we need more like Clan War Tournament, Clan War Speed Wars type of stuff like that. And I was kind of bummed out. So going into the update, I was like a 4 out of 10 excited. I thought that the Miner and the Baby Dragon were kind of underwhelming. And then after it hit, my expectations totally flipped. So I'm kind of playing both sides of the fence there, but I was expecting really average to mediocre update, and I'm blown away by it. I absolutely love it now. So, I guess I'm going to go right in line with you guys, and somewhere between an 8 and a 9. I'm really feeling the update. So, guys, thanks again for coming on such short notice. It's awesome to have a little bit of smaller guys, but who I feel have really, really great content, better than mine, both of you guys. So
learn from the best.
Exactly. I was going to say.
Shut up. But to everybody out there listening to me right now, do yourself a huge favor and subscribe to Aronos. That's all it is, just Aronos, ARONOS, and Clash Attacks with Joe. I'll go ahead and link them both into the description. And if you guys want to see me do this with other YouTubers, let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely include that. Guys, thank you so much. Any other parting words, or are you guys all set?
Oh, no, I greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care now.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It was awesome to get in touch with both you guys, so thanks a lot.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming on, and thanks for everybody for listening. With that, I guess we're out. Guys, take care.
All right.